In my last channel update video, I said I was going to review the classics that I haven't watched yet and give you guys my honest opinion on them. I just watched Ghost in the Shell. I thought it's by far the most powerful anime movie I have watched so far. It hit me. It was, jeez. I mean, uh, if Akira hit me like a train, like a car, this movie hit me like a train. Like no, it's it was something else. It was a fantastic experience. However, I didn't like the ending. I did not like the ending of the 1995 Ghost in the Shell, the first movie. I thought the ending was just terrible. A certain part of the part right before the ending was good in my perspective, where he or she wake up in the building and you have the sense of, okay, so she survived, and you get to see Bato's room, and this actually has a significant role in the characterization of Batu. His whole like inner living area that we see at the very end is actually very important for his overall characterization, and I'll get that later on. Um, but geez, I mean, okay, let's just get started. As a movie, this movie falls under the science fiction genre, specifically the future dystopia subcategory. It also has a little sprinkle of body horror and is very philosophy very philosophy heavy. It's also has a lot of political undertones and political messages about corruption in government. Basically, if anything, if you learned anything about politics from watching this movie, is that politics is corrupt as uh, I mean, politics is dirty in general, and this movie just makes it its point to illustrate that to the nth degree as much as possible. Now, the characters that the most important characters in this movie are the main character, Kusanagi, Bato, Batu, and the puppet master, and Togosa. And you're gonna say, wait, what? Togosa? Togosa? That guy that almost had no relevance. The only thing he did was arrest the two trashmen. That guy? Yes, that guy. He's important because he basically serves as a control. Every experiment has a control, a specimen, or a or something that is not experimented with and put under the same base circumstances, where you do an experiment where you feed a bunch of rats something. You need to have rats that aren't fed something in order to have that thing in order to have a fair comparison. For example, he's the control. He's the person with no bodily implants. He's or almost no bodily implants. He's the type of guy that wouldn't be suffering from the mental ills that Kusanagi and Batu have to suffer through, as well as the puppet master. Uh, it really does. It's really significant when you look at it from this perspective, because all three of those people are very much so psychologically fucked, to put it mildly. Oh yeah, this is by no means a kid friendly video, and this movie is by no means a kid friendly movie. Just FYI, right there, buds. Just letting you know, this isn't a movie you watch with your kids at night. Unless you're fine with your kids seeing, breasts and blood and gore, then that's your thing. But I don't recommend showing this movie to kids, especially at night. Now, let's talk about. Actually, no. First of all, there is this test that Hollywood came up with called the Bechdel test. I believe I'm butchering the pronunciation. I just learned about this test a few days ago from film class. But this test basically serves as a means of judging how female friendly a movie is and if the movie is anti-feminine. And the way this test goes is that you see if there are the first stage in passing the test is seeing if there are two female characters that interact. Second is if those characters have a lot of lines and are main characters, and the final part of the test is if the characters aren't talking about a guy. Now, obviously, this movie fails this test because the only character, female character that has a lot of lines is Kusanagi. But at the same time, it just shows that this test is not that effective because this movie breaks so many stereotypes when it comes to women. Now, according to a lot of animation scholars, anime is sometimes used as a critique of the submissive woman. I'm not gonna. Well, stereotype. The submissive woman stereotype or the submissive woman fetish that exists in certain part of Japan. So a lot of times, according to some scholarly sources, in where's that book? It's actually a pretty interesting read. I highly recommend you check it out. It's called Anime from Akira to Howl's Castle. So it's a pretty nice read. According to that book, specifically talks about how a lot of times anime displays break stereotypes for women in order to critique the submissive sexual stereotype of women and women's role in society. And a lot of times, anime is used to break the very molds that hold gender roles together in society. And this movie does just that. And even more so than most movies that a lot of people are just recognizing for this specific feat. An example of which is Wonder Woman. With Wonder Woman, everyone's like, "Oh my God, this movie broke so many stereotypes. I feel happy. I want to show my daughters this movie." This is definitely a movie you don't show your young daughter, but you get the point. This is a movie that a lot of people talk about that way. But I would argue that this anime, Ghost in the Shell, is even more influential when it comes to that particular point because they didn't make a big deal out of the fact that she's a woman. They never did. You never hear a single line with anyone saying, "Oh, but she's a woman." No, no, it's not. She is treated like an equal, and she proves that she is above and beyond the majority of the characters when it comes to compatibility, when it comes to analytical thinking, when it comes to basically being a person, being a good character. Well, not good as in good or bad, but being well written. She is a very good character in that sense. You don't need someone to be whispering right next to the character, "Oh, but she can't do this because she's a woman." No, it shows you rather than tells you, and that is great because showing someone something is a lot better than telling them something over and over and over again. And I think this anime does a great job of just that. Now, going down the list, the first character, we're going to talk about the four characters: Kusanagi, Bato, the puppet master, and Togasa. We're going to start with Togasa. Togasa, as a character, has the dedication type appeal to him where, oh, he's a part of the team. You even see him talking to Kusanagi, even though she's above him in rank, as if they're I'm not gonna say equals, but they talk as if they're very close friends in a sense that you wouldn't see in like a military venue where Oh, he's my commanding officer. I have to stand still as if there's a stick shoved up my ass and not doing. No, it's like they're talking to one another as if they're friends, but still he respects her because she's his boss and she is a badass altogether. So with him, you have the communal aspect is very heavy, and this is the most important thing. He has no worries over any overarching philosophical, sociological uh, conflict with machinery. He doesn't at all. At least not from what we've seen so far from the first movie. He's not someone that talks a lot about, oh, I'm so worried. Like, am I like this? Am I nothing but data slips and am I code? Basically, is the thing that I'm trying to bring up, and he doesn't have that worry. So he's the control. Now, I'm going to argue that Kusanagi and Bato both are going through very similar things. You could argue Kusanagi more because she's more of a cyborg, has more parts, more electronic parts, whatnot, what have you. But you have the fact that Batu is also a cyborg. So they are going very much through the same thing currently, but the only difference is that for some reason he can swim. He can swim, but Kusanagi can't, which is kind of weird. But other than that, they both take very different approaches to the situation depending on their personality. Now, Bato at first seems to be like a straight shooter, like this guy that you know tells you what it is as it is, someone that doesn't really lie or dance around something, just as blunt as possible. But upon closer inspection, he's very evasive because as opposed to questioning his humanity, he just gives up. He says, "No, I don't have a personality. It's all info in my head. I have no soul." But you have, it's just this uneasy, resting sensation you have with him saying that you're not really sure whether he believes what he says. If he believes what he says, that's something. But you're basically you're not really. At least I wasn't convinced. And at the very end, the last scene proves that he's not just a machine. Like he's not that. He's not numbers. He's not code. He's a human being with a personality. And you see that at the very end because his room is very well decorated, and you have this one comment by the puppet master uh, Kusanagi combo, basically saying something along the lines of, "Oh, that's a very beautiful room you've got there," and and basically he says something along the lines of, "Oh, you're actually the first person I that has seen this, yada yada yada." But you have a feeling that this is how he expresses himself, and this is where his personality leaks. He's expressing himself, which again hints at personality. Therefore, he's not as materialistic as he lets you to be. He basically evades the dilemmas by just submitting to it altogether, not even questioning it. So automatically there's the issue. Okay, I'm gonna submit psychologically to this because I don't want to deal with this BS. At least that's my understanding of his character so far. And if you disagree with me, please comment down below. I wonder what he's gonna be like in the next movies, and I'm sure I'm gonna see a lot of difference when I watch the next movies in the Ghost of the Shell series. But Ma, Kusanagi has an entirely different approach to this. Her personality is different. She is a very spiritual person. She does not let on to this, and it's very contradictory. It gave you the initial Kuma reaction in One Piece, where you saw a freaking cyborg holding a Bible, and you're like, "Wait, what? What? What?" So you see her dancing around the and talking about being transcended when she goes up from the water, and talking about a different state, and but just hinting constantly at the notion of a spirit, and the notion of, oh, I have a feeling in my heart that something's about to happen. So she's instinctive, and she always hints about this spiritualness that she doubts that she even has because she's a cyborg. Like, she doubts her humanity, therefore she wants to believe in spirituality, but at the same time it's in conflict with her nature, which is being a cyborg, which is being a machine, and she worries that in origin she was not a human being. She was just a bunch of scraps that were put together by some desperate guy that found a corpse and a bunch of wires and decided, you know what? Fuck it. Let me violate nature and create this monstrosity. So this is a worry that she has, that she is nothing but a aberration of the state of nature, and not originally of human origins. Now, the puppet master. This is a guy that knows that he was created in a lab. This is a guy that knows that he was created by humans, basically. He's not a human himself. However, he's gained sentience, and he's realized his own existence, basically. Honestly, his character is kind of I'm kind of iffy about the Puppet Master. I don't know how to exactly feel about him, because his final conclusion to merge with Kusanagi, I definitely disagree with. I think it would have been a lot better if that hadn't have happened. Definitely, most definitely, because Kusanagi's character would have been better off just plain dying. And you could argue that that scene where you see the angel before, like, his head gets blown up and her neck gets cut off, that scene, or neck blown off, and you see her head at the very end. You could say that that is her death. I would argue that if you have a hint of, like, some sort of ghost or some sort of spirit after she's died, then it would be as if she fulfilled her dream of transcendence beyond a state of materialistic consciousness where, oh, I'm materialistic at heart, but I'm a machine. Shucks. So that type of exchange, something beyond that exchange, that would have been more fulfilling. Now, the Puppet Master, he is on the I'm Alive fan club, and it's very contradictory when you see him. Like, he talks about how he wants to die but he isn't able to die, and he wants to reproduce but he can't reproduce, and the way he justifies this is that's what living things do. Okay, but that's not necessarily what living things want to do. I could guarantee you that you know people that wish that they do not want to impregnate someone else, just live a life in just partying all day, fucking people right and left. I guarantee you know one person like that. And I guarantee you know that one guy that's paranoid all the time about dying. And just, I actually think, like, almost nobody wants to die, really. Everyone wants to stick around. So it's not something humans want to do, but the way he justifies this is, okay, this is what humans do, so I'm going to be doing this too. So you could argue that he is sentient, but he's too attached to the concept of being alive, that he doesn't realize that people that are alive don't necessarily want to die, and some of them don't want to reproduce. So that's what I have to say about the Puppet Master. Um, it's he's in terms of villains in this series, it's really hard to pinpoint a single villain. It really is, because, I mean, Section 6 could be considered a villain, but at the same time, the level of corruption in this movie is so high that you could basically argue that everyone is neither a villain nor a hero, and this is just a story. And that is one thing that I liked about this, is because yeah, you're following Motoko Kusanagi, who's spiritual, and Bato, who is materialistic, and the puppet master, who's on the I'm Alive fan club, and Togasa, the regular guy, the control, that lab rat that gets to skip lab day, that guy. So overall, that's really all I have to say about Ghost in the Shell. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you didn't, just hit the dislike button. And if you disagree with me, please comment down below. And until next time, guys, this is Anime Gypsy, and I'm out. See you guys later. Bye.